The war for control of the Mongol tribes had left Chinggis Khan in the dominant position on the steppe, scattering his enemies. But he had learned an important lesson. Often in his career, when he had looked defeated, Jamukha and Togrul and the rest failed to finish him off, allowing him to regain his strength. Chinggis Khan would not give his foes this opportunity. At the same time, Chinggis Khan needed a foe to throw his people against. Internal infighting would break out, tribal ties reasserting themselves if Chinggis failed to find them a common enemy. Possibly from his youth, he had had fantasies of raiding the northeastern kingdom in China ruled by the Jin, a Manchurian tribe which had set up a Chinese-style dynasty centered around modern Beijing, and were responsible for the death of his relative Ambachai, as well as pitting the steppe tribes against each other for most of the 12th century. Chinggis knew his coronation and unification of the tribes would raise the ire of the Jin. Luckily for him, in 1206, the Jin were distracted by war with their southern neighbors, the Sung dynasty, the ethnic Han Chinese dynasty which ruled southern China. Yet, before he could march into China, Chinggis had to finish off the remaining tribal leaders to secure his flanks for the march over the Gobi Desert. In late 1206, Chinggis campaigned against the remaining Naiman, led by Buyruk Khan, the brother of the late Taiyang Khan. Taiyang Khan's son Kuklug and the Merkit chief Toqto'a Beki, who had kidnapped Borte around 1180, stood with him. Buyruk Khan was killed, the Naiman were scattered, and Toqto'a Beki and Kuklug took refuge with the few remaining Merkit. The next year, Chinggis' eldest son Juchi was sent to Siberia to subdue tribes there, while the Kyrgyz tribe submitted voluntarily to Chinggis. Chinggis' reputation was beginning to pay dividends. He was now learning that fear could lead people to submit, much easier than any campaign. Meanwhile, since 1205, Chinggis had been probing the weaker of the kingdoms of northern China, the Xi Xia, known as the Tangut to the Mongols. This kingdom, founded in the late 10th century by a Tibetan people, were west of the Jin, straddling the Gansu corridor and collecting much valuable trade from the Silk Road, but was agriculturally rather poor and did not have the manpower resources of the Jin or the Sung. Yet, its strategic position and sizable military meant it could not be underestimated. By 1207, the Mongol raids were getting much worse, plundering the town of Wolohai. The Tangut Emperor looked to the Jin Emperor for aid, to which the Jin responded, "How does it hurt us when our enemies fight each other?" This would have disastrous consequences for them later on. In 1208, Chinggis personally led the campaign against Toqto'a Beki and Kuklug, intent on destroying the last of the Naiman Merkit coalition. Toqto'a Beki, who had been such a thorn in Chinggis' side for almost 3 decades, was finally killed. His sons and the remaining Merkit would flee to the Kipchak tribes further west in modern Kazakhstan, while Kuklug fled to the Kara-Khitai Khanate, which controlled much of modern Central Asia. Kuklug, after being granted asylum by the Kara-Khitai, would eventually usurp control of the Khanate and would rule here until Chinggis sent his general Jib to get rid of him in 1218, which would bring the Mongol Empire into contact with the powerful Khwarezmian Empire in Iran. For now, however, the northern and western borders of Chinggis' new empire were secure, and by 1209 he could look to invading the Tangut Kingdom and unleashing a hell upon China it would not soon forget.